This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Win streak for the Minnesota Twins has officially been snapped just when the Milwaukee Brewers needed their stars to step up most. Jackson Chourio, Freddy Peralta, they get the job done tonight, beating the Twins at American Family Field in Game 3 of their 3-game series. This one by a final score of 5-2. Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Locked On Brewers Postcast edition here over on YouTube. My name is Brandon Snide. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Snide, and you can follow all of my wonderful work over at WTMJ.com, where I cover all of our Wisconsin sports teams. Lots to get into as the Brewers finally look like the team that we had hoped they would have been at the start of the year. A 5-2 win over the Twins at American Family Field. Freddy Peralta getting the start today for the Brewers, and he has been, I know there's some questions about Freddy Peralta. Is he an ace? Is he not an ace? I know some national beat writers are trying to ship Freddy out of Milwaukee, but he is your ace. He gets the job done today. 5 innings pitched, just 3 hits, 1 earned run from Freddy Peralta. And when the Brewers needed a steady start the most, Freddy again comes through for the Milwaukee Brewers in a 5-2. So very, very, very much needed win for many, many reasons, which we will get to throughout the course of the show. A couple other things I wanted to talk about, and we'll dive into this 5-2 Brewers win. Was there a message sent after the game on Saturday? The Brewers had lost 7-0 on Saturday night. Did manager Pat Murphy send a message? We'll get into that, as well as the upcoming series with the Baltimore Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates. In my opinion, and I don't think any Brewers fan out there will disagree, and I don't, if you look at the standings right now, won't disagree. It's a must-win for those, and I'll tell you exactly where I want them to be after those back-to-back series. But lots to get into as the Brewers get back into the win column at American Family Field, 5-2, 22-25 on the season. And look, one bite at a time, baby. You can't eat a cow in one bite. So one bite at a time, the Brewers get a much-needed bounce-back win. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, all welcomed here on the program. If you're not a subscriber to the Locked On Brewers podcast, you can get our audio platform wherever you get your podcast. Chuck Freeman has your daily. I got you on the post-game shows, and your thoughts and comments and questions also welcomed here on the program. The Brewers getting off to a quick start. We had talked about their record when they don't score first. It's not very good, as the Brewers showed that last night in that 7-0 loss. But right out of the gates today at American Family Field, they got off to that quick start. All of their runs, minus their last run in the 8th inning, coming within the first few innings, the second and the third inning. Sal Frelick in the 3rd inning with the RBI single, fouled up by maybe, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I know, the win against Cleveland, they had some big hits in Game 3. Isaac Collins in the 3rd inning, maybe one of the biggest hits that it feels like it's probably, I maybe being a little hyperbolic here, but maybe one of the biggest hits we've seen in a Brewers uniform in quite some time. With the bases loaded, was able to hit a single, get a few runs. That gave Freddie a little bit of a cushion there. And then Frelick once again in that same inning, in the 3rd inning, with an RBI single. That gave Freddy Peralta a 4-run cushion. They ultimately would win this game 5-2. But the turning point in this game comes courtesy of the 8th inning. And let's get right into the turning point in the Brewers' 5-2 win over the Minnesota Twins.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Ladies and gentlemen, the score was 4-2 in the 8th inning. The Milwaukee Brewers allowed a guy on second base. 4-2. There was 1 out, I believe. And it looked like it was going to be, from Royce Lewis, a game-tying 2-run home run. And I know at the plate, Jackson Chourio hasn't been what I think he would tell you he's expected this season. I don't think fans obviously expected more at the plate from him tonight. He was 0 for 4 from the plate today. But Jackson Chourio saved this game for the Milwaukee Brewers. It would have been a game-tying 2-run home run. He jumped up over the wall in left center, robbed Royce Lewis of a potential would have been game-tying 2-run home run in the 8th inning. Had that not been caught by Jackson Chourio out there in left center. The game would have been tied at 4 apiece, and who knows what would have happened with this Milwaukee Brewers team. Who knows? Who knows, right? We do not know. That is the turning point tonight by Jackson Trio there in the 8th inning. Just a phenomenal play. And maybe, again, this is the optimistic, shades I'm putting on. Maybe that's what he needs, to kind of get him going all around. He's had a couple of defensive play mishaps in center field. Maybe that's what gets Jackson Trio going. I don't know. Time will obviously tell with him, but they don't win this game tonight without Jackson Trio robbing that home run. As Nick over on YouTube and Everydayer for the Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, Jackson Trio, his defense saved them today. A momentum changer. It absolutely did. I mean, that's my turning point of the program tonight is Jackson Trio's game-saving 2-run home run robbery from Royce Lewis. And it's exactly what this team needed. And you could just kind of tell there was a different energy put into the building after that catch was made. Royce Lewis taking off his helmet and showing his respect for Jackson Trio for that game tying event, would have been game tying home run. And I don't know, it's easy to look at right now and be like, that's going to be the play. That's going to be the one thing that gets this team going. We'll see. Time will obviously tell. Their schedule eases up a little bit. And we're going to get into a little bit of that as it goes on. But that is the turning point tonight. And then Rhys Hoskins as well added an RBI sac fly in the 8th inning. And it was an all-around good game from the Milwaukee Brewers. Was it the most efficient start that Freddy Peralta had? No. But I think what you've seen, and we had talked about this Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff and the bullpen and whatnot, is that when they have to be perfect or they feel like they have to be perfect, it tends to lean into, a rough outing. Last night was Tobias Myers' turn after giving up a handful of runs before the 4th inning. Today the Brewers got onto a hot start, scoring runs in the 2nd inning, immediately putting pressure on Zebby Matthews. He didn't have somewhere in that 2nd and the 3rd inning, he lost his control. The starting pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, he only left after 3 full innings of action. He lost his control somewhere, but that's when the Brewers jumped on. And we had talked about when this team takes advantage of those opportunities early in games, that's the way this team has to win. That's the way this team has been built. Get a little bit ahead early. You don't have to score 6 runs in the 1st inning. Got a guy on the ropes early. Take advantage of it. Let your defense settle in. Let your starting pitching settle in. Let your bullpen come in and do exactly what they're supposed to do. And that's what we saw today. Abner Uribe, fantastic. Once again, Jared Koenig coming in. Trevor McGill looked fantastic as he gets his 6th save of the season. And this is exactly a Milwaukee Brewers type game that we saw from them. It's what we saw all of last year, right? Small ball, playing good defense, allowing your starting pitcher to go. Tonight, Freddy Peralta went 5 innings and then allowing your bullpen to come in and clean up the rest of the game. And that's exactly what the Brewers did as they get the win today at American Family Field, 5-2, 22-25 now on the season. And it's a small, very, very small step. And we'll see exactly what happens after this team, turns the page on Sunday afternoon and look ahead to next week. Lots of reaction being poured in over on YouTube. We start with Jamie. I think Trio robbing that homer will be the start of good things to happen for the Brewers. We're about to go on a run here this week! ! Orioles and Pirates ahead. And that's a great point because I think this is going to be, we talk about turning points, every day after every Brewers game. And tonight was no different. Jackson Trio with the robbery out there in left center. I think this your next 2 series, the Baltimore Orioles, who just fired their manager, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who fired their manager last week, this is your turning point in your season. It can be. This can be it right here. And this is an opportunity because after these next 6 games, it does get tougher. It certainly gets tougher. So this could be your turning point in the season. I did mention Pat Murphy sending a message to this Milwaukee Brewers. Maybe he did. It feels like he sent a message to this Milwaukee Brewers team. I'll tell you exactly what that message was, and it feels like maybe it was received. That's coming up. The Brewers getting the win today, and do yourself a favor. You can get a win as well. Head to your local grocery store, your Quick Trip, your gas station. Wonderful Pistachios, a must-have in the Snide household. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with wonderful Pistachios. I tell you guys this all the time. We have 5 kids in our household. 3 are in volleyball. 1 is in track and field. 1 of them is in Little League Baseball. In between practices, in between meetings and work and dropping kids off and games. Wonderful Pistachios is a game changer for this household. We love it. It's nutritious. They're delicious. You can eat them on the go. You can eat them in between practices, in between meetings. I just picked some up from Quick Trip the other day, grabbed a few bags. My son had a track meet. Boom. He was able to have a snack in between track meet. The satisfying crack of opening each shell. It's like snack meditation, guys. It's fantastic. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. Again, guys, very, very easy. Anywhere you go get groceries, I go to Quick Trip all the time, almost daily. They're right there at the counter, wonderfulpistachios.com. It's delicious, they're nutritious, and a good source of protein. Again, website is easy, wonderfulpistachios.com. Program is also brought to you by FanDuel. There is not a better time to get in on the action. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Baseball's in full swing. Believe it or not, the NFL is not too far away. Every night delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's game-winning shot, a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel has quite the offer for you. They make it super easy for you to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. And speaking of parlays, what if your first $5 bet hits? If you win that first $5 bet, guess what FanDuel is going to do for you? They're going to make it fantastic. They're going to give you $200 in bonus bets to add to all of that excitement. And if you're new to FanDuel, perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. Again, maybe you bet on the Brewers winning tomorrow. Maybe you bet on the Eastern and Western Conference Finals coming up here as Game 7 taking on with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. We already know the Pacers and Knicks are in. Maybe you're going to take the Pacers. Maybe you're going to take the Knicks. I don't know. But if that first $5 bet hits, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, that is FanDuel.com. Your first $5 bet hits, you get $200 in bonus bets. The Milwaukee Brewers are getting the 5-2, very, very much needed win over the Minnesota Twins. Lots of reactions still being poured in over on YouTube. Drum, the Brewers play Baltimore next, who have the worst pitching staff in the league. This is going to be a big point in this Milwaukee Brewers season. I had mentioned that I wouldn't be surprised, and I know my good fellow Dan, who's an everydayer on YouTube, and Charles, everydayers over there on the YouTube, the Locked On Brewers postcast edition. They always like to drop comments. I forgot which one of them said it, but one of them disagreed that the Brewers could be double-digit wins out of the division in 2 weeks. Today helps. The Cubs schedule, though, continues to ease up. They got the Marlins after the White Sox today. So we'll see exactly where this the standings are after tonight. I don't want to get into every game's must watch and must see. And are the Brewers going to, be 6 games back after tomorrow or 7 games or 4 games? Take care of the business that you can take care of. What's in front of you in this Milwaukee Brewers team. Started that today with a 5-2 win. Now don't let it go to waste. And I say that because that's exactly what they kind of have done. 3 out of their last 4 series, right? You go all the way back. I believe it was the Chicago Cubs series at American Family Field. They have lost the first 2 games and won the 3rd game. 3 out of the last 4. They won the first 3 against the Houston Astros. So that's where I'm curious for this Milwaukee Brewers team. And that's why I say this is going to be kind of the turning point, because your schedule is a little bit easier. You got 2 teams that are clearly in different platforms than I think they thought they were going to be, especially if you're Baltimore. Pittsburgh, I guess, it is what it is, status quo in Pittsburgh. But this is it, man. I don't want to say this is your season, but I mean, you have a grand opportunity if you're the Milwaukee Brewers to get, I think, 5 out of 6 of your next 6 games, right? Like, I think that's what needs to happen if you're the Brewers. I think that's exactly where you need to be. That gets you back over 500. You're beating teams that you should beat. And I think going forward, after those 2, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, things are going to get a little bit tougher for the Milwaukee Brewers. And we had talked about that. Excuse me, a 4 against Pittsburgh. So you have 7 games. I think you win 6 out of those 7. I think that's the standard for this Milwaukee Brewers team. You're at home against Baltimore. You go against Pittsburgh on the road. But I think it's a great opportunity for this Brewers team, the way that their schedule pans out, because it's going to get tougher. Boston, Philly, San Diego, St. Louis, Chicago following those 2 series. So this is a good opportunity. You don't want to be where you're at right now and be like, man, we had an opportunity against 2 of the worst teams in baseball, and we just couldn't come through. We just couldn't come through. So we'll see if that trends in the right direction for these Milwaukee Brewers. I did want to bring up the thing you'll be talking about tomorrow, but first, let's dive into my player of the game, and I think it's probably going to be a lot different than some of you are anticipating.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Could point to Jackson Chourio with the catch out in left center. That was the turning point of the game. But tonight, my player of the game is Isaac Collins, and it's only because the big time hit with the bases loaded, which scored 2 runs, and it felt like the relief in the stadium, on the broadcast, certainly on the radio broadcast. It's funny because the radio guys were talking about right before he had that hit, right before it, they're like, this is all the Brewers have needed for the last 2 weeks, is just some timely hitting. Isaac Collins delivers a much needed hit. You could go honorable mention Jackson Chourio. Again, Freddy Peralta was fantastic tonight. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and 5 strikeouts. But nonetheless, it's a team effort. Freddy delivering the win. Jackson Chourio saving the win for Freddy, and Isaac Collins coming through with a big knocker to knock in 2 runs and give Freddy a big cushion there, 4 runs at the moment, and he would cruise for the win against the Minnesota Twins, snapping their 13-game win streak. Would have been the longest had they won today, I believe, since 2022. I could be off there, but I believe it's been the last 3 years. It would have been the longest, but the Twins taking the loss tonight, thanks to Freddy Peralta, Jackson Chourio, and Isaac Collins with a big-time hit in that 3rd inning, kind of setting the tone for this team going forward. Pat Murphy sending a message, ? Let's talk about it.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The Brewers had lost on Saturday 7-0. It was an ugly game. It was just an ugly game for this Milwaukee Brewers team in all ways. They bounced back today. They get the 5-2 win. After the game, Brewers manager Pat Murphy talking about the recent struggles at the plate. And I'm quoting manager Pat Murphy. Did we go out and spend a lot of money in the offseason? Let's call a spade a spade. No, we did not. Strong words from manager Pat Murphy. He's not breaking any news. I think you and I, every Brewers fan, would say the same thing. We know that's been the case. It's what we're sitting here screaming for half the time, half our winter during the hot stove season. They did not. But was that a message being sent to this Milwaukee Brewers team? Was that a message being sent to a guy like Christian Yelich, Jackson Chourio, Isaac Collins with a big hit today? Was that a message being sent to this offense? Maybe William Contreras. Hey, we didn't spend any money. We put a lot of hope and anticipation that these guys were going to do what they did last year, and they just haven't done it. No, we didn't spend a lot of money. That it is what it is. I don't know. Again, I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist. I don't want to be the guy that's poking holes in anything. It feels like, on the surface of that, it feels like that was a message from manager Pat Murphy through the media indirectly to his clubhouse. Wake the bleep up. Do what you're supposed to do. Did it work? I don't know. 5-2 win. Guy stepped up. Played small ball. RBIs, sac flies, timely hitting. It seems like that was something Pat Murphy intentionally said. And again, he was saying the quiet part out loud. It's not a secret. He's not breaking any news. No, we didn't spend a lot of money. That's what he said. He's right. They didn't. And they didn't, partially because of ownership, but partially because you put a lot of trust and hope and expectations on the shoulders of Jackson Chourio, Rhys Hoskins, William Contreras, Silver Slugger winner last year, Christian Yelich. Those are the guys that's got to step up. Rhys Hoskins has been fantastic, by the way. Not calling him out at all. We'll see if this gets Jackson Chourio going. I'm hopeful. I think there's some hope there, as the Brewers, with a couple of winnable series, is up next. Baltimore at home, and they'll hit the road for a 4-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll pick up the Locked On Brewers postcast show tomorrow after the Brewers take on the Baltimore Orioles. My thanks to each and every one of you for always making Locked On Brewers your first listen each and every day. Thank you very, very much for what you guys listen to. Your dedication to this Milwaukee Brewers team makes us being able to do what we do a reality, and we could not do it without you. Remember, you can get Locked On Brewers wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify. You can also get everything right here on YouTube. Just search at Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. And my name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Snide. We'll pick it up tomorrow as it's the Brewers and Orioles. And as always, today was a win. Thankfully, feels good to say that. It feels good to say the Brewers got the win. But it's win, lose, or draw. It's always go Brewers. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.